right, so now we're gonna get into a little bit of politics and everything, what's been going on is with the world and potential World War III and Israel and Palestine and Russia and everybody.
Those countries, the Holy Land. They need chaos in the Middle East. That's why they are discrediting those countries that insist on the immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, insisting on stopping the bloodshed, and are willing to make a practical contribution in the resolving this, that insist on the immediate ceasefire, that they can do anything. They do not want durable peace, exceptionalism. They believe that they can do anything. They do not want durable peace at the Holy Land. They need chaos in the Middle East. That's why they are discrediting those countries that insist on the immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, insisting on stopping the bloodshed, and are willing to make a practical contribution in the resolving this crisis, not trying to gain from this. Even the UN, the clearly stipulated position of the global community, is
Vladimir Putin need to close his damn mouth. He got a lot of nerve talking about some Israel and needs to have a ceasefire in Gaza and stop bombing them. Look at what the fuck he's doing in Ukraine. Close your goddamn mouth talking about some Israel shouldn't be using that type of firepower against people they know they could beat. Look at what y'all doing in Ukraine. What a fucking hypocrite. But we all know that he's held to certain standards when in the world you have to condemn certain things, and he's only condemning Israel's actions because the US is on the side of Israel. So naturally, because Russia and the US are enemies, of course he's going to naturally take the side of the opposite of whatever side we're backing, which would be the Palestinians. But Putin got a lot of goddamn nerve talking about Israel need to stop bombing them and airstriking them, like he's not doing the same to Ukraine. Ukraine is basically a country in rubbles right now. Now Ukraine hasn't lost. As a matter of fact, Russia is actually getting exposed in fucking Ukraine. The Russian military isn't as high and mighty as they thought it was. Russia over there in Ukraine damn near kind of getting exposed and spanked by the Ukrainians. But at the same time, Ukraine is kind of in rubbles right now. There's not much of a country that's left, but Putin got a lot of damn nerve telling Israel to stop while they over in Ukraine doing that.
attacked and bullied and being discredited. I would like to emphasize this. In our approaches to the situation in the Middle East, unlike the Western stance, we have never had any wish to gain anything from that.
Oh man, shut your ass up. Man, I don't know what the fuck is Putin talking about, man. Next slide. Now, we talking supposedly the countries with the strongest armies. Now, we're going to have to rearrange this list a little bit because Russia is supposed to have the second strongest army. That's obviously not true. Russia is not as big as bad as everybody must have thought they were. The way they in fucking Ukraine getting exposed in Ukraine right now. They haven't been in Ukraine for months. What shit about a year now, and still in there fighting, getting spanked, and then turned around. So I'm not too sure about where this, how accurate this list is. let me tell you, the countries with the strongest military are going to be the countries who are at war the most. When the last time Russia has been in a war before they invaded Ukraine? They ain't been tested. They might got some firepower or whatever, but they men ain't been tested. They not war ready. Like countries who are always frequently at war, like the United States, Israel, Middle Eastern countries, African countries. Russia got firepower, but their military is just not battle hardened soldiers. So I'm not too sure about, uh, especially just like I said, the way they're getting exposed in Ukraine. I wouldn't put Russia military at number two. You got United States, Russia, China number three, India number four, United Kingdom. I don't know about you. Well, I don't know. United Kingdom might got something, but they kind of poor right now. You got France, you got Germany, South Korea, Japan. You got Israel. Now Israel military rank is right now is at, according to this, is at number two. And then you got right after them is Turkey. Now Turkey has been making threats to Israel, and Turkey is just flip flopping all over the damn place. Supposed to be a part of the UN one day, then they threatening other nations in the UN like they're not. Turkey is flip flopping. One thing you got to realize about a lot of these Muslim nation states is they don't really have a truthful alliance to the UN or to the NATO. Their alliances lies with the Muslim Empire and all the other Muslim countries. So Turkey is flip flopping. If they end up getting involved in Israel, then either Turkey going either end up getting it too, or somebody going to end up staging a coup in Turkey to get their president or whoever's in charge take it down. So I would suggest that Turkey close their damn mouth making threats. I don't know who the hell they think they are. But of course, a lot of nations have been making threats at Israel and the U.S. because we appear to be weak right now with Biden in office. But that's all about to change as soon as he get his sleepy ass out of there. But Turkey need to shut their flip flopping asses up. In Iran, we all know that Iran has proxies that's basically been making threats towards Israel. You know, like Hezbollah and who else? Well, we all know that Iran is backing Hamas, but Iran is another country they need to close their damn mouth before they get their asses taken care of also. But of course, fucking crooked Joe Biden has been giving them money, and it's been what I think they're able to trade weapons now. Oh my god, this is a fucking mess. I can't wait till he get his ass out of office. You got Egypt, but yeah. So Israel has a very strong army. They are more than capable of handling most of these countries that are threatening them by themselves, as they did in the 6 Day War, when little tiny Israel by themselves battled and fought what 3 or 4 other Muslim nations and whooped their asses. Let's see what else we got. So, Saudi prince. Now, this is what the Prince of Saudi said in response to who is this who said that? Hezbollah, Hezbollah has been firing rockets at U.S. posts in Israel and at Israel. So Hezbollah is trying to make it seem like they care about, Hamas and excuse me, like they care about Palestine and the whole issue there. When the truth is they don't. They just trying to expand. They just see it as an opportunity to expand their regime, and that's all most of all of these Muslim extremist groups do. They look for opportunities. If you look at all of the situations in the Middle East and in Africa, anytime there's turmoil and chaos, you have opportunist groups like these jihad groups. They always enter into the middle when in one of these countries when they're basically at civil war, when there's problems. That's the only time there are opportunities. Those are the only times that they will try to butt in. ISIS, Al Qaeda, the Taliban, PLO.
Nasrallah's remarks yesterday, he runs Hezbollah, saying this. There is no doubt that the axis of resistance is a big lie. That's what Nasrallah referred to yesterday.
No, I don't really fully trust Saudi, even though Saudi is kind of on the leash, they kind of been pretty good allies to America. I still don't fully trust them.
100,000 missiles and massive weapons that Hezbollah has have nothing to do with supporting the Palestinian cause.
However, that is true. Hezbollah does not give a damn about the Palestinian cause. They just see this as an opportunity to finally wipe the Jews off of the face of the earth and off of their land, so that they can further their jihad further westward into the west. That's the only reason that they care about this.
The so-called axis of resistance has been dealing with the Palestinian issue for years and is only a means of implementing Iran's agenda in the region. No kidding. I cannot believe Saudi Arabia is saying this out loud.
Oh yeah, Hezbollah is just puppets of Iran. We all know that they're just puppets of Iran. Iran is backing them and Hamas, and they're just doing whatever Iran is telling them to do. But it's a ticking time clock for them and Iran. Let's see. Now let's go to talk about some infiltration. Okay, now I want you to listen to this. Now, this is Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri at a hearing where he's getting on Homeland Security, the head of Homeland Security, some Department of Homeland Security, over some anti-Semitic, pro-Palestinian terrorist tweets that somebody in his department was making. Now, let's talk about the infiltration now. All of these pro-Hamas and pro-Palestinian supporters that stems from this left-wing liberal extremist ideologies is just fueling sleeper cells. That's all these people are, sleeper cells. Right now, America, we are exposed. We got our borders open. People hopscotching across at any time. Men of fighting age. We got the school system is indoctrinating kids with anti-Western rhetoric. Yeah, it's getting really ugly right now. We're not ready for this type of internal war through infiltration. We're only good at fighting nation-state wars. So the swamp needs to be drained, definitely. It's going to be a big change once the next election comes. But listen to this.
People who say things like, on October the 7th, F Israel, I'm cleaning up the language here, F Israel, the government and its military,
Now, the lady who said that, she works for Homeland Security, people. That's what's scary about this. She works for Homeland Security. She's in charge of deciding what type of asylum-seeking refugees are able to come here and who not. Now, who do you think she's accepting and declining if she works for Homeland Security as in and is in charge of this?
Are you ready for your downfall? People who say things like F Israel and any Jew who supports Israel. May your conscience haunt your dreams until your last breath. Palestine will be free one day. F apartheid Israel and is any Israeli. This is pretty extreme rhetoric, don't you think?
Senator, I do, and I think there is a distinction between espousing or endorsing terrorist ideology
Shut up. Are they fired or are they not?
and
Now, this person works for you. This is Nuja Ali, an employee of the Department of Homeland Security, who posted these comments on October the 7th. That's not all she posted. She also posted this graphic. Now, this is a fake graphic, I want to be clear, but I think we understand.
Now, this is somebody who works for Homeland Security. How scary is that? Yeah, which I'm not surprised though. I already know a lot of our government positions and politicians. We've been infiltrated with anti-Western immigrant sleeper cells. I've been to this.
And this is a paraglider, a Hamas paraglider, depicted here with a machine gun flying into Israel. She posted it under her online alias with the celebratory Free Palestine.
Look at that. Somebody who worked for Homeland Security posting stuff like this. And as far as I know, it hasn't been fired yet.
Mr. Secretary, what's going on here? Is this that Israelis are being slaughtered in their beds?
of the men and women of
They are threatened for their lives. You have employees who are celebrating genocide, and you are saying it's despicable for me to ask the question? Has she been fired?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary.
After the consumption of Senator Hawley's time, I'd like to speak.
Has she been fired?
Because I will
We
not
would like
be,
an answer. Would you?
because I will not be given.
Fired. Your answer is you can't speak to it? This isn't sufficient to fire her?
I am not in a position to speak to an ongoing personnel matter.
This
That-
isn't sufficient to fire her? That's what you're telling me?
No, I'm not sure if maybe he's saying he doesn't have the power to fire her yet, or he doesn't have sufficient evidence, but this is more than sufficient evidence to fire somebody for something like this. You know, Hamas has been deemed by the government a terrorist group, so this is a little more than just free speech. You can't openly support a group who's been deemed and dubbed a terrorist group by your country. But unfortunately, it seems like so far this woman still isn't fired.
That is not what I'm saying.
But she's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
That is not what I'm saying.
She's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
Senator,
How many cases? She was an asylum and immigration officer. How many cases did she adjudicate?
Senator, I'm not in a position to speak about an ongoing personnel.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking you how many cases she adjudicated involving Israelis seeking asylum in this country.
Same answer.
Seekers, hashtag Palestine, hashtag refugees welcome. This is on her LinkedIn post.
Now, she works for Homeland Security. She's a pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine supporter, and she's in charge of deciding which asylum seekers and immigrants are able to come to America and who isn't. Now, this is what she says: hashtag Palestine, hashtag refugees welcome. And we're gonna get into why Palestine refugees are some of the most dangerous refugees you could ever take in, and why no other Middle Eastern countries wants to take in Palestinian refugees.
Where she has her professional affiliation posted. So I think the American people deserve to know, has she admitted, contrary to law, individuals who should
I think that there would, my sense is that there would be some relief by way of this. I think um, there's one checkpoint once you're there. So there's one checkpoint who's a terrorist and who's not a terrorist once you're, it's hard to determine, it's hard.
So this video is just talking about, remember, so Palestinians are in the Middle East, they're just considered like the troublesome group that nobody wants. Okay, it's a reason why Egypt hasn't really opened its borders to Palestine. They only letting in like maybe a small few a day. Jordan hasn't opened their borders. Syria, no one has opened their borders to these people because the Middle East, they know these people. The Palestinian refugees have been troublesome in the past. Okay, Gaza was once controlled by Egypt. And at that point, the Palestinians were terrorists. Egypt had to deal with them. That's why they don't want to deal with them now. The same thing in Iraq. They had Palestinian refugees who started setting up shop and, becoming terrorists and terrorizing people. And the Iraqi government had to put them down. Same thing in Jordan. I think they assassinated one of the heads in Jordan, and basically, yeah. So the government of Georgia had to step up. Jordan had to step up against the Palestinian refugee terrorist group and put them down. And same thing in Syria. Everywhere that the Palestinians go, they cause trouble. The PLO and Hamas, that they basically are the whole Palestine. So no one wants them. They've learned from their past. No one wants to open up their borders to take in Palestinian refugees. They're troublesome.
Well, it's hard to determine who's a terrorist and who's not a terrorist.
Egypt won't open up their borders because how are they going to determine who's Hamas and who's not?
Once you're there. So there's one checkpoint into Gaza from Egypt. I think that my sense is that there would be some relief by way of this stricture that the Israeli has placed, that no food, water, or fuel. I can't believe that they're going to deny water to 2 million people, but I think it's going to be a limited opening up.
And just real quick, David, are you surprised Hezbollah has not jumped in, and do you expect that?
And there's been some movement on the northern border from Hezbollah from the Lebanon.
Hezbollah hasn't frequently jumped in because they're not stupid, and Iran is kind of scared right now and haven't gave them the green light to do so.
Lebanon territory, but they don't. I don't think they have the military force that Hamas has, and they can't hide behind the citizens the way Hamas can hide behind the citizens of Gaza.
Exactly. Hezbollah might be a little stronger than Hamas, but they don't have the same tunnels to run and hide under. Hezbollah can't hide behind the citizens of Lebanon. It is not the same.
Gaza.
All right, Major General David Harris.
But anyways, so that's it. We're going to see what happens more in news as the days and weeks progress about this whole thing.